I gotta tell you, I absolutely love the intro song, but I don't love that it is mirroring my video. Why? Oh, why is it doing that? Let's see if we can fix that. Hang on a second. That's annoying. Mirror. Who mirrors a camera? I don't understand why any app does that. Welcome to Monday. I hope you were ready for Monday. It tends to slap people upside the head, but I was ready for it. Went to bed early ish. Watched what was it called? Mobland. Man, that's the show. If you've not seen Mobland, you got to check it out. It's on Paramount. I love it. It is spectacular, and I hate Pierce Brosnan's character. Isn't it Pierce Brosnan? Is that who's in it? Is that the guy? Hang on a second. No, it's not. Is it? Who's in Mobland? I'm screwing this up, and I haven't talked about it for like an eighth of a second. Mobland. I want to say it's Pierce Brosnan. He was James Bond. Mobland cast. Pierce Brosnan. I hate his character. Like, I can't stand his character. He's a bumbling idiot, but I love the character Tom Hardy plays. He's awesome. And I'm an ex-cop. I want to root for the good guys, but the good guys in this one seem to be I don't know. It's taking me to a weird place where I am enjoying the content, even though they're bad people. Yeah. Orhan has a mess. What does it say? Hello, Sean. I got a question. I want to become a cop and I don't know where to start. That is a question we can talk about. Grocery worker says, hey. Welcome. Janelle jumped in. I recognize the last name. Possibly, maybe it could be someone that I saw recently. G. Banyan, creator Steve, what's happening? Connie, GTO68. We got folks jumping in. Laj and Cato. What do we got? Joe. Lots of folks in the room. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. I had a fantastic weekend. Lots to talk about. If you are watching and you don't already follow me, please do. If you know people who need to know stuff and things about traffic law, traffic safety, and police stuff, well, then you should follow that. Well, you should tell them to follow me. That's how that should work. And if you're watching on TikTok in particular, please tap that screen, send likes to the channel. It helps the algorithm let people know that this is a channel that's worth watching. Share it. It's an endorsement, and I appreciate it. You don't have to send money. Just send, likes and forward. But if you do want to send money, you can do that too. Diamonds get taken and put into the Better Traffic coffers. Better Traffic is the not-for-profit that I created, booted, started when I left the police service. And now we're doing stuff and things like doing presentations for different organizations. I've been asked to come to the Toronto District School Board. I've been asked to talk to military groups that I used to speak to when I was a police officer, that I want to carry on and continue to speak to now that I'm not a police officer, but now it's just out of my own pocket. I pay for these things. Now Diamond and Barrett Legal help me out, but your help would not be refused. Just saying. You don't have to give anything, but if you do, that's more than wonderful. And sharing it's the most important thing, because we want to let people know what's going on. Gordon Shumway, if anyone needs to know, is Alf. We call you just Alf for short. Gordon Shumway says, "Good morning, detective. Well, I am no longer a police officer, but as a former police officer who once upon a time worked in a detective office, I appreciate the good morning." And Chase says, "Here we go." And he's coming in from YouTube. Gord is coming in from X. We've got folks who are in on TikTok, and we have magical people who are watching on the Instagram. That's where we have LinkedIn too, but I don't know who's on LinkedIn. All right. Just to let you know, ask a traffic cop, and I can actually just show you what this looks like. Stand by. We'll do this. Let's do this. I'm going to press this button. It's going to go over here. Do I want it to be there? Yeah. Doesn't know. I hate sticky windows. Sticky windows where you hover over something and it goes and wants you to go to a certain place. Just it drives me crazy. Okay. Ask a traffic cop. Let's see. Oh, yeah, autofills. Love it. Everything looks like it's working there. Cool. Why does it have last Mondays or it has Fridays? Okay. Talking to myself. Should stop doing that. I press this. Does it work? No. Does it work here? No. Does it work here? No. Okay. Let's just go here. It's just, sometimes everything works beauty and sometimes it don't. So here's the deal. We've got Friday's show here. We've got the traffic jam episode. That's the one for this year so far. And of course, this traffic jam episode is everything you wanted to know about the Great Canadian Driving Games. Yes. And if you look up here, way up, you can see win up to $100,000 the Great Canadian Driving Games. This is Safe Roads Canada. It's an app you can download, and it sends information anonymously to TIRF, the Traffic Injury Research Foundation. And when you join the challenge, you learn more about your driving. You find out things about yourself. Do you speed? Do you touch your phone? Do you corner too fast? Do you accelerate too hard? All these things will be reported to you and no one else, at least with knowing it's you. Everyone else who gets reported to, it's anonymous, not your insurance company, not the police. And with that, you can do things like learn how to be a better driver or compete with your friends and family. I am sharing my information on Twitter when I get reports back saying I did good, I did bad, whatever. Also, the most magical of buttons, this send voicemail button off to the side right above my head. Yeah, if you click on that, let's see if it works. Yeah, send Sean Shapiro a voice message. You can send me a message. I will play it on the show. It's like you're really here. Or like you're on the phone, not really here, because that would be weird. But anyway, if you've got traffic or police questions, we're going to talk about them. That's what we do. It is a show for you, and I got lots to talk about besides this. Let me just get the next window ready, because later on we're going to talk about recruiting for the Toronto Police Service. I was at the police memorial over the weekend, and I had some interesting discussions. I had a lot of interesting discussions. Saw the chief, saw all sorts of friends that I haven't seen in a long time, motor officers from across Ontario, because it was the Ontario Police Memorial. It happens on the first Sunday of May every year. And I went this year, as I always do, to host the Motor Squad breakfast. So we, with the assistance and generosity of a local McDonald's location, we bring out coffee, we bring out food, with some excellent magical muffins cooked by a retired staff sergeant's other half, which are wonderful. If I could have eaten them, I would have eaten a lot of them, but I didn't eat any of them because, well, they're carbs, and I'm not eating carbs. I'm on a reduce my my carbon footprint diet. I'm not eating carbs or sugars, and those are all carbs and sugars. They smelt amazing. I kept on just inhaling the wonderful blueberry and banana. The two different flavors, by the way, not a blueberry banana. I don't know if that would work. Would blueberry banana work in one thing? Brandon's a chef. He would know. Brandon says, "Good morning, Sean and all from Miami. Quick trip to Orlando to drop off the Corvette before flying back home. Hope you all had an awesome day." Brandon was just there for what was it? It was the races. It was I previous shows I read what he said it was, but I've already forgotten because in out, and I've already forgotten. What is it called? What is the event called? I forgot. McLaren. How did the McLaren cook-off go? Brandon is a chef who was chefing while he was there, and I'm having an amazing day already. So I hope everybody else is too. Janelle says, yes, that would be okay. Cool. So on Saturday, I saw Janelle and her family when I was in London, Ontario. So shout out to London, Ontario, and a tomahawk steak that was absolutely phenomenal. Just saying. Yeah. If you're in London, you should check out Chop Steakhouse. They are they're awesome. Yeah. And good people work there. I like good people. Okay. What do we got? What do we got going on here? We have so much to talk about. Let's have a look here. I made a list. I had so many things I wanted to talk about. I had to make a list. Oh, I forgot my coffee upstairs. I have a new mug. If you want to see my new mug, it is on Instagram. I picked it up at the dollar store, no less. It's not a fancy mug, but it says "Dad Jokes Brewed Daily," and I posted a picture of it today. And I was going to drink coffee on the show, but then left it upstairs next to the coffee machine, where it does me no good. But I will have another injection of caffeine when I get upstairs, because the show is entirely powered by caffeine. Just saying. All right. We talked about the memorial. I didn't really talk about the memorial. I said I was at the memorial. Here's the deal with the memorial. It is where we pay respects to the people who paid the ultimate sacrifice. We're talking about police officers who were killed in the line of duty, and it's something that we have far too many names on the wall. It's there's services we remember, we talk about, we add the names, and it is unfortunate that we have so many names on there. And of course, we never want to add another name, but it does happen. And it happens far too regularly. My buddy Andrew Hong was added, I believe, last year. It's just wild. I love going there to support. I love going there to pay tribute. And what we have to remember is that it's not just the people whose names go on the wall that we're there for. We're there for the families left behind. They're really the ones who paid. Yeah, somebody died, but the gaping hole left impacts the families and the communities and the police service and the coworkers. Like, it's so much bigger than just somebody dying. Anyway, I don't want to get too deep into that, but it is something that's super important. You can watch the replay of the event online. You should. It's worth the watch. A few minutes out of your day. And let's see here. I can press a button. Is it going to work? It's not going to work. No, my Stream Deck is not queued up to the right page. Oh well, let's fix that. While I do that, I can press this one. Come on, I can press that one. It's doing weird things. Is it here? It is here. I pressed the right button. Look at that. I mislabeled it. So we'll change the background for a moment. We'll go here. We'll say, look at that. Diamond and Diamond Lawyer, sponsors of the show. So is Barrett Legal, but this logo is so nice. I have to put it up on the screen. Shout out to Diamond and Diamond. They help me make the show possible. And of course, the show isn't just the show. The show for Ask a Traffic Cop is one element. We also have the podcast, Traffic Jam Podcast. I mentioned about the magical people at Turf and Safe Roads Challenge. They have the app and the competition which is going on. I mentioned it already when it was on the website, but I'll mention it again. You should go and download it. Go to askatrafficcop.ca and you can download the app and start playing. Because I want to know if you're a better driver than me. I've been anywhere from like 86 to 92. I haven't been able to get 100. I want 100. I want a perfect score. I do. I want a perfect score. That's my goal. Just saying. Okay. And I mentioned about the call display. Listen, I made a list and it's throwing off my vibe. Here's paper goes there. Oh, hey, we'll talk about some other things in a second. If you got questions, ask them. That's how this show works. If you got questions about traffic safety, and I see there's a whole bunch that have come in, let me know because I want to know what you want to know about so we can talk about what you want to talk about. It's a show that works that way. Laj came in. Oh, no, Laj shared the live. Appreciate it. And wanted to ask about my thoughts on motorcycles. Well, what do you want to know about motorcycles? Because I am a motorcycle guy. Although I'm not currently riding, I absolutely love motorcycles. They've been part of my life since I was a kid, wanting them and wanting to be a motor cop in particular, but also being a rider since the age of 16. I love motorcycles. If they're ridden responsibly and lawfully, I am good. Super, super duper good. What do you want to know about them? Oh, they said, also wondering if you could speak about bylaw officers and police. I've found it to be very tricky. What do you want to know about bylaw officers and police? Because I can speak about them, but that's very general. Do you have a specific topic you want to discuss? OK says, if Canada Post strikes again, what happens if my renewed license is delayed? What'll happen is they'll send you a receipt, or you'll have the ability to go online and print that. But ultimately, keep the one you have until you have the new one, because the police will be aware of the fact that the postal service is delayed, and they will be able to see the current status of your driver's license. As long as it is not in default, if it's not invalid, then you're good to go. But that's a very good question, and we'll talk more about that. How is it possible that they are considering striking again? Didn't we just deal with a baloney strike recently? I vaguely remember talking about this on the radio. Like I called into 1010 to discuss it, but it feels like, how long ago is this? How can they be striking? I thought they just agreed on something. Anyway, I'm obviously not up on postal stuff because I try not to send anything. The only stuff I send in the mail are decals. I send out decals. Now, these are decals that I had made for my buddy Logan Grant out in Brooks, Alberta, who will be joining the show tomorrow night. But it is. I have an Etsy store and I sell some stuff and I send it on Etsy or on Canada Post. But otherwise, there's nothing but bills that come to me. So we could just do this all electronically. I can't send stickers electronically, but everything else can be electronic. Well, they could be out of a job. These people need to stop complaining, unless there's something legitimate that they're complaining about. But I'm so not up on what their problems are. I just assume I got my own problems. All right. I'm so not what is it? Apparently I have no feelings. PJ Sue says, God bless those fallen blue heroes. Thank you very much. I appreciate the sentiments. And I agree. And I'll talk about other heroes this morning that I met this morning, and it's not who you think. Jay Sutter says, best way to respond to competency-based questions for TPS interviews. The values are odd to speak of life experience in the STAR method. Their values are odd to speak of life experience in the STAR method. I'm not familiar with the STAR method, but I've done the behavioral events interviews before, both in promotion and in applying for police constable. Ultimately, I think the best way to look at it is look at the the qualities they're looking for, and address them and overspeak. Not open your mouth and talk about stuff you shouldn't. I mean, overspeak in terms of being very descriptive and cover everything up. We can come back to that. I'm interested to know more about where you were going with this comment. Maybe you were just responding to the question earlier from somebody else. Deb says, my brother worked at Diamond and Diamond. Very cool. And can I explain the G2 license briefly? Yes, I can. Wow. How briefly do you want to do it? It's a license. It's the second stage. You get it after you get your G1 and you graduate by way of having a road test. Is that too briefly? What else do you want to know about it? You can drive anywhere. You're then a licensed driver with conditions, but the conditions basically continue your no alcohol, which is good. No one should ever drive with alcohol in their system. And in terms of conditions, in the first 6 months, you can't have more than one person under the age of 20 other than your immediate family, because there's an exemption for that. And in the second 6 month period, you can't have more than three people under the age of 20 outside of having immediate family. Now, there is a thing, I think if you're over 22, 21, if you're 22 or older, then it doesn't apply after the first 6 months. I have to go back and look at that. It's funny. The things we think are absolutely set in stone, and then you read something going, really? And that's what happened here, because I am currently rereading the driver's handbook, and I'm rereading it while recording myself doing it. It's on my voiceover cop YouTube channel. If you want to have me essentially read you a book, you can go and subscribe and follow the podcast playlist, or it's a playlist for the G1 or the official MTO driver's handbook. And I just published another chapter or section last night. They're going to start coming a lot quicker. Okay, where was the conditions? This is applying for a license. I want to just find out where it said. Bear with me here. Okay, in addition to G2 drivers age 19 and under. So in addition to the following restrictions apply to the hours of midnight and 5 a.m. to G2 drivers age 19 and under. So it's only if you're 19 and under. Interesting. Okay, I knew there was an age condition. And that was what actually I wasn't aware of, or I'd forgotten 900 times. I've forgotten more about the HTA than most people will ever know. In the first 6 months after receiving your G2 license, you're allowed to carry only one passenger age 19 or under. And I usually say it under 20. After 6 months with your G2 license and until you obtain your full G license or turn 20, you are allowed to carry up to three passengers age 19 or under. But this particular rule only applies to those who are 19 and under, which is good. And I've often left that out. Passenger restrictions for G2 drivers age 19 and under do not apply if you were accompanied by a fully licensed driver in the front passenger seat. That's something that I obviously didn't realize until I read this the first time. Or if the passengers are members of your immediate family. That one I did get. Now that they cover a guardian or those related to you by blood, marriage, common law relationship, or adoption. Very cool. After 12 months, you can take your G to your next level test to get your G. What else does it say? Yeah. Once you have a total of 2 years driving experience, you may take the level 2 road test to earn driving privileges. Anyway, we're moving on. I hope that answers your question. And let's move on with other stuff and things. Oh, okay. The star. So Jay Sutter giving more advice about the whole how to deal with responding to competency-based questions is star. So you explain the situation. I'm guessing that's what you're saying by star. I've never used this before. Situational task action result. So what was the situation? Explain the task that you had to do, what action you took, and what was the result. Does that cover it? They gave the points. That's good. Okay. Let's go back and see what it says. Nicholas Rizzi, what's going on, my friend? What is this? Oh, is this actually a question for you, or are you asking the question on behalf of somebody else? We'll pop in here for a motorcycle question. I can put it on screen, and I like that. I have a motorbike, but got a DUI on the motorcycle. Is that affecting my G-class license as well or not? If you have one license, you only have, you may have a motorcycle license. People refer to it as a motorcycle license and an automobile license and a bus license. But in truth, you have one driver's license with different designations and permissions to carry different classes. So you have an M class designation on your driver's license, but you don't get a second driver's license. If you get a DUI, you lose your driving license, which covers everything. You can't drive, period. So suspension is suspension. That's it. Oh. Banyan has a question about body shops who are offering to pay your deductible after a collision. Interesting. I don't really have a strong opinion on it other than why? What is it that they're doing? Is it part of a scam? Are they going to be, screwing the insurance company? I like to deal with people I trust. Someone, if it's someone I trust who's doing it, well, how much money are they making on me? But it's a bit of a racket. All this whole stuff with screwing insurance companies. And why do we pay too much for insurance? Because people take advantage and upcharge. I don't know if that's what your dealer or body shop is doing, but you have to be very careful. I I'm cautious, and I go to trusted people through those that I have been referred. Nicholas wants to clarify. No, 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 not me. Just a question, which is good. Nicholas has some of the best questions and some of the most awkward jokes. Not all of whom I can or those I can read. Jokes are whom's. I don't know. How often can you get out of a DUI? That's from Harjas or Harjas, depending on how to pronounce the name that I'm guessing on. Uh, if you're a DUI person at the side of the road, you're getting arrested, you're getting charged. There's no getting out of it. If you go to court and you fight it, that depends on how much you spend on your lawyer. If you have a good lawyer, $35,000, $45,000, you might get it pled down to something less. You might get lucky, but is it really lucky? You done screwed up if you got charged for impaired because you put yourself in a situation where you're being held accountable because you put lives at risk and you have no business driving. So get a lawyer, spend all your money. It could have all been avoided by not driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Not much else to say about that. I don't have a stat for how often, although I would say if you refuse to provide a breath sample, it is so much easier to get a conviction because everything is against you. You've got proof on video that you did refuse, and it just makes life easy for the police officer. So if you like cops and you want them to have a nicer day and win in court, you refuse. If you want to at least get chances that you aren't over, like you can have alcohol in your system, you can be pulled over, and you might blow 100, you might get a warrant, and people just say, "I'm not doing it" because they don't want to get arrested. Well, they end up getting charged criminally anyway. I don't know how to pronounce your name. We'll call you Dab. Watched some YRP make a turn, no signal, and then did an illegal U-turn to get behind a guy. Well, they may have failed to signal, and that's somewhat minor in comparison. What's the illegal U-turn? Where was it that made it illegal? Because illegal would suggest there's a sign posted, and even then, they're permitted. They're exempt from bylaws in the execution of their lawful duties, and traffic enforcement is one of those. So if they had to turn around, could you imagine? Somebody over there did something illegal, but I can't make a U-turn. I got to go 3 kilometers over there and make 3 right turns and punch in my password and swear an oath. No, they can do what they got to do the job. Lights and sirens tend to help make that safer. But I don't know what the situation was. But I appreciate that you saw someone do something that looked awkward or illegal. I prefer to signal. I really do. But if they made a judgment call and said they didn't have to, they're not going to get a ticket for it. But if they caused a collision, they'd be absolutely responsible for it. Oh, oh, the bozo's back on X. Great. Apparently, they have an alt account now. Anyway, we'll just not. We'll ignore them before we ban them and report their account again. Let's see here. Someone who's got a fake account. It's anyway. Not going to pay them any mind. They don't deserve it. They've got issues. All right, Dre Studios. Anyway, if you want entertainment, you should read the stuff on X. Grasping at straws. Dre Studios, what's going on, brother? Believe they were forced back to work by the government after last strike. Is that right? They were forced? They were talking about the magical folks who are on whatchamacallit. The folks that were were they? I'm trying to think. We're talking about the postal workers. By the way, I used to do presentations to Canada Post employees all the time about their driving, and a bunch of great people, some of whom I've met, and if you're watching, some people who have had some really traumatic events in their life, and I just shout out to the folks who get the mail done. I just don't understand why we'd be another strike. Anyway, Gray Studio says because they couldn't agree on a contract and they didn't want to work They didn't want to work weekends. Life is rough. Laj says, well, one thing specific for road bikes, the center line, if that makes sense. Do you mean like can they ride the center line? What do we mean? You mean where you should place your bike in the motorcycle lane? There's an offset. It depends on which lane you're in. Uh, okay. Let's see here. I saw the chief yesterday, actually. Okay. Lash says, for bylaws, I'm just seeing more abuse of power by gray zones. I'm not, okay. Wyatt says, hi, chef. How's your morning going? Chef being Brandon, I'm assuming. Never got a DUI when I wasn't drinking. That's right. It's the best way to go. Oh, I want to just go here for 1 second because this is an annoying person. And it's okay to be annoying. It's just, we'll just deal with it appropriately. Stand by. They have to keep creating new accounts because I blocked the last one. I guess they'll have to block this one too. And then they'll create another one and come on back. It's all right. Give them something to do. Cool. Oh, it's going to take too many key clicks to do this right now. Is that for? Here we go. Loading. Oh, maybe I can't see it because it's blocked already. We'll figure it out later. Okay. Thanks, Gord. Appreciate it. Oh, I can do it. Add to block list. Perfect. After putting them on the screen. Living off tax. I don't know what they're talking about. But anyway, they should now be on the block list. We'll see. All right. Amy says daddy energy. Okay. Let's see here. Canada Post was legislated back to work. An agreement was never reached. No kidding. Okay, I did not know that. Greetings. Well, I did know that based on what Dre Studio said, but we've got Gwen Johnston who says the same thing. Greetings from Brock, Vegas. Awesome. Brock, what a great name. Tyler says, kind of dumb question, but really curious. How does one make an F1 car street legal? I don't think you can, but I wish that Melody was here because Melody knows exactly how to do that. She's a mechanic. F1 car, yeah. I mean, other than covering the wheels and you need a proper. Oh gosh, I don't know. How would you make it street legal? I've seen some stuff that I think made out in England that are open wheel cars that are legal for the road, but I don't know what it takes. Epic Life Enthusiast says, are red light cameras and speed light cameras calibrated? They were when they were put in. I don't know how often they are. It's certainly not part of my my realm of how they operate. I don't know what their owners' manuals and regulations require, but the certificates for their accuracy are posted on the City of Toronto website. And I see Mr. Steak. What's going on, Mr. Steak? The deal with the speed cameras is people have argued that they're not accurate. I don't know how much traction they've gotten on that. Just saying. It's possible that you could try and fight that. But obviously, the speed measurement ones must be accurate or within a certain range. And I think the best way to deal with that, like from the government side of it, is what they're doing, which is giving people a very wide threshold. Like you don't have to, like you can argue saying, I'm giving you a ticket for one over, thus it has to be accurate. But if I'm giving you a 10-kilometer leeway, and maybe they're factoring down the getting it down there, it might have actually they might be able to say, well, we give them a 10-kilometer thing. So if we're giving them a ticket, we're giving them a 10-kilometer grace period, and I don't know exactly how they do it, but they're holding up in court. That I can tell you. Jen says, haha, Mr. Steak, that's never going to get old. Absolutely not. By the way, are you hungry for steak? Are you close to London? You should go there. Gotcha, Jen. I see you moved from Insta to TikTok. I caught it instantly. Epic Life Enthusiast says, I'm fighting them. They are not accurate because my device installed in my car tracks my speed. I mean, you're entitled to do that. I'd be curious to know if you win. Let me know. Follow up with me. Send me an email to askatrafficcop or Sean at askatrafficcop.com.ca. I think I'll set up for both of them. Anyway, or voiceovercop@gmail is the best one. I get that one fastest. Laj says, I'm talking about Northern Ontario highways. It's tight, twisty, and hilly. Semis more than trees. So you're talking about the center line, like people crossing over and hitting bikes or vice versa. People need to stay in their lane. And if you're needing to use other lanes, you should really not be going fast because usually it's speed that determines someone having in a motorcycle anyway to take up space that isn't entitled for them. I saw some great video yesterday. I don't know where it was shot, but it was a guy just sort of sitting in a corner that obviously has issues and bike after bike after bike lose control and land off the road. I mean, the option is they were trying to, it was almost a 90-degree turn, and they were trying to slow down sufficiently and they couldn't drop the speed and they'd go off into the trees. And it's pretty sad. Uh Epic Life Enthusiast says there's a 10-kilometer difference. I have 3 already. 10-kilometer difference from the speed you are traveling according to your device and the amount that you're charged for. Oh, very interesting. I'd like to know more about that. Uh, the thing is, how do you know that your device is calibrated correctly? Is it satellite? Is it what is it? Tell me more. I'm absolutely eager to know. And when you have the follow up, I'd love to talk to you about it. Maybe even on the podcast to find out what's up, and we could do a little clip and send it to the folks who do the enforcement and see what they say, because that would be very interesting to discuss. If it's a problem, it's a real problem. Epic Life Enthusiast said that they had 3 already. I read that already. Amy says, "What would you do what would you do if you pulled over a driverless car?" So a driverless car, if it was operating in Ontario, would be absolutely illegal because we don't have save and accept for, I think, one company under the provincial pilot program, uh, and even then they have somebody supervising. They're just in the passenger seat. So what would happen is that person would be responsible, or the oversight, because they have remote drivers for that have to supervise the vehicles. They'd be in by intercom. We'd be contacting them. Yeah. Okay. Texas Walker, Texas Walker. No, it's the real Walker Texas Ranger joined and says the Ariel Atom is street legal. That is the one I was thinking of. That's the British little racing car. But is it legal here, or is it racing? Is it legal there? Because the whole idea of not having mud flaps is a problem. Not having covers on the wheels, unless they have the small little ones that are on top of each tire. Yeah. Uh, Apparently, there's been some moves on the they said federal action on auto theft, and they're dealing with a way to decrease thefts nationally. One of the things they did in Ontario, apparently, the top of my note was here: the Ontario's crackdown on auto theft. So they're talking about giving the authority to police to search and seize electronic devices used in car theft, such as keyless entry fob programmers and signal amplifiers. If you've seen the videos of thefts at homes for cars, you have one guy who walks up to the door with like a lasso, and he puts it up to the door. It's an antenna that extends the range of the remote control from the front door to the car, so they can replicate it and open the doors and get in. I think that's a great thing if they can make it happen. Now, I don't know if they made it happen or if they're just proposing it. Oh, okay. Amy follows up and says, it says, well, say you were a cop in LA, and since driverless cars are legal there, what would you do? I've seen lots of videos and issues with LA driverless autonomous cars doing things. And the fact is, you can speak to the remote person. So they're programmed to pull over for police. I've seen them drive away after the lights get turned off because the programming assumes it's all done. So the police have to leave their lights on in order for the cars to not just drive away, but the control center is reachable and you can contact them through there. So if they did something wrong, I would charge the company. That's who's responsible here. Emma says, hope you're having a marvelous day. I am having a marvelous day. Thanks so much. And occasionally I'm throwing papers in the air. What else do I want to talk about? We talked about it before, but I want to mention again that, did you know that the minimum numbers for a reportable collision have changed? So it used to be $2,000 amongst all vehicles, which is like a paint scratch. They've raised it to $5,000, and that started all the way back in January of this year. So if you have $5,000 of damage, you can't just say, we're not going to report this. It is actually an offense. You can be charged for it. And what very often happens is that someone goes home after realizing that they kind of feel uncomfortable with a handshake about fixing the car, because many people renege. And then they go and report it. And the other person who was part of the handshake gets screwed because, well, you didn't know that they were going to report it, but they did report it. Now you're on the hook. You were always on the hook, but now they actually know about the collision. Anyway, if the other stuff is, if someone's injured, you always have to report If someone goes to hospital by way of ambulance, it's already being reported because police are attending. That's another story. Cool Scary says these comments are crazy. I have a feeling that the comments that you're referring to, I can't see because I've banned the crazy person. I can't actually see what they're saying anymore. They're no longer available on the show. But you are. I can put you on the screen. Hey, look at that. You're famous. Cool Scary says these comments are crazy. I look forward to reading them afterwards. Okay. Uh, let's see here. Nicholas Rizzi says, ever hear the stories of cops pulling over 10 or 12-year-olds that stole the parents' car, crashed it, or were you that cop that chased kids in a car like actual kids? Uh, I've heard many stories where young people were behind the wheel, and nowadays you can actually pull someone over, not even realizing that they are so young because they look so old. Kids look older than they used to, I think, and lots of kids are joyriding, and it's a problem. And I would absolutely make the parents responsible, especially if they're at the appropriate age. If they're taking it without consent, I'd charge them. It's great. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You put a car on the road, you're responsible, or your parents responsible, or you're both, depending on your age. Someone's getting charged. What do we got here? What is your record for speeding tickets written in one day in one location? I don't know. I never kept score. It was never about getting the highest number of tickets. It was about writing the best tickets, the ones that have the best evidence, the best conviction rate. And I didn't track the conviction rate, but I know I gave quality evidence, and I know that they got convicted. I had one that really irked me that didn't get a conviction. It got tossed. I'll tell you about that one right now. It was a situation where a cyclist was riding across college. Was it college? It was college. And they pulled past a fire station. A firefighter leaving shift pulled out on a green, and because they have a signal right there, and the cyclist ran the stop sign, and the firefighter almost hit the cyclist. So he pulled up beside her and said, I got to tell you, what you just did was super dangerous and illegal. Please don't do that. Last week, I went to a call where a woman was flattened by a dump truck in a similar situation, and I fear for your safety. And he may have been very loud about it. He was probably PTSD out the wahoo, and really wanted to get his point in. Well, that woman apparently got scared and ran the next stoplight to get away from him. And he got to the next stoplight and he said, what are you doing? I just like, don't you, you just ran another stop sign. So he, he ended up driving away. And at some point, she lost control of her bicycle, and she said he tried to kill her. Anyway, I charged her because of her own admission, she ran multiple stop signs. So I charged her for running stop signs. I could see nothing that made him responsible for the collision. I didn't charge him. She went to court, and she ended up getting the file moved so many times that one day it got moved into a courtroom that I was in that I had never been notified about, and her conviction was overturned. Like, I went to the hospital and served her in the hospital. She goes, "Is this a joke?" I said, "No, it's not a joke. You told me in your evidence that you ran stop sign or red lights. He told me you had red lights. So I have a witness, and I have your own testimony substantiating the charges. I really wanted that person to get convicted. Of all the tickets, I think that's the one that I regret not having a conviction on. Just saying, that person needed to be convicted." All right. Empress says, is there somewhere you can send a video of people stunt driving on the highway? You can absolutely send it to me, just because I'd love to see it. And you can do that by going to a form at trafficcop.ca. I still have it set up there on the Google Forms. I haven't got Ask a Traffic Cop set up to take video yet. However, for police, you can upload to YouTube or Dropbox and do an online form for reporting, and then send them a link. That you can do. Okay. Ba, 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 ba. Okay. Is 20% tiny illegal? I think you mean 20% tint illegal. If 20% tint is how much light is getting through after the tint is applied, then no, that would mean that 80% of the visible light transmission rating is, or 80% of the light is being restricted by tint. That's usually where people go when they say 20%. If it's only 20% getting through, that's not legal. You need to have 30% to be certified. And frankly, 30% is not enough to avoid tickets for obscuring the interior of your motor vehicle with color or reflective coating. Oh, they fixed it and said, it's Amar who said tint afterwards. Anyway, Going back to the whole tint thing, you can't obscure the interior of a vehicle with color or reflective coatings, and that could get you a $110 ticket. But if you had 20% or 5% or anything over 30% light blockage, meaning less than 70% of light gets through, then you could lose your license plates and have to get another certification. A lot of mechanics certify without checking it, but it's not okay. What is this? No way. Really? I'm surprised that that's the case. Uh, I've not heard that anywhere. There's a lot of news that's coming out every day. A lot of people. Anyway, I don't want to go political, but I'm very interested. I watch Canadian and American politics like crazy. It's like the most interesting thing on the news right now. To, but that's let me see that. Make a note so I can look it up later. All right. Empress, we asked that. Amy, Owen Bradshaw said something to Amy. Mr. Steak says, joyriding at my age is on the sunny day in the country. Yeah, joyriding it should not be jumping into mom and dad's car when you're 12. Although I know what happened. It happened for many, many people. I'm sure I did. Now, here's a funny thing. A friend of mine told me he let his 10-year-old drive her car. His car. Think about that. And in his particular situation, it was perfectly legal. They were on private property. Just saying, if you're on private property and they're not stunt driving or drinking under the influence, they can legally operate the vehicle, but they have to do it safely. And if you get into a crash, you're still responsible. But it is interesting. I remember when I was 14, being able to drive in a parking lot and learn how to basically maneuver a car at like a snail's pace. What is this? Did you hear about the oncoming removal of cars pre-2000? I have not heard anything about that. What is that? That sounds a little bit out there, but now I want to research it. So tell me more, Em. I want to know more. Jeff C wants to know if a ticket can be canceled if the office puts something wrong info on the ticket. Are we talking about an electronic enforcement ticket, like an automated one? Are we talking about what are we talking about? Let me know because I want to know, and then we can talk about it. But if an officer makes a boo-boo, it is possible if it's a fatal error that it could be canceled. It's up to the justice of the peace. And very often what they do is actually amend it in court. Like if they put the wrong address, the wrong license plate, as long as the notes have the correct information, then it usually sticks. Okay. What's the lowest speed over the speed limit you've issued a ticket for? No other infraction, just speeding. I don't know, 10, probably 10 kilometers. I've given a ticket for 10 kilometers, but it was like a 30 zone. Texas Ranger says removing cars pre-2000 sounds like fake news. It might be fake news, but what an interesting concept. I don't think they can do it. We have classic cars. We have Model Ts that operate on the road. Why would we take them off? Now, if the vehicle is unsafe for the road, I could totally see that. Just saying. Okay. Someone told me there's no minimum. What is this? Someone told me if there's no minimum speed sign on a highway, four ways aren't required if slow moving. Four ways aren't required ever. Like they're there to assist you while you're at the side of the road. In fact, I have articles that I've posted about the fact that I don't think they should be used unless you're not moving. I don't see a reason other than 18 wheelers going up a hill trying to get to speed because people who are racing at 140 and should be arrested, by the way, are going, and the 18 wheeler can't physically go faster. So they are a legitimate issue or hazard on the road. Jen says, asks if I miss being in the field every day. I miss being a cop. I miss being on the road. I missed it for years because I've been off the road for years, even when I was still a police officer. And yesterday, when I was at the memorial, I got to see all my friends, and they're out there doing their thing. And I wish I could have been out there with them, supporting them. You're very welcome, Empress. Tracy, how you doing? And she rightly says, shouldn't have your four ways on if you're driving. Jeff C says, why'd you leave your cop job? I left the police service because I needed to be for family. I need to be home. I need to be able to take care of family and our needs. And that didn't include going downtown and being away for the entire day. I just, there's situations afoot that require my presence. And it directed my action. Jeff C says on paper he put the wrong expiry. That's not a fatal flaw. I would assume that is going to be amended in court or a non-issue. Okay. Anish wants to know how I became friends with Mario. TikTok primarily. Emma says, I'll send the link about it. You can check it out. Yes, please do. Okay. What is this? What about something rain? I don't know. I don't know what the question is. Emperor says, are you allowed to duct tape your car and drive it? The whole door was duct taped to the back window. That would be a safety issue, in my opinion. I'm not a mechanic, but I would say that would be a cause for concern. A duct tape door that there's no door, it's just duct tape. Most vehicles, I'd say it's a problem. Bad Words Master says, poor use of taxpayer money here. Bad Words Master, apparently you need to read because if you look underneath my name, which is Sean Shapiro, by the way, it'll say former police officer. I'm not being paid by your tax dollars. And when I was being paid by tax dollars to do this, it was the best use of tax dollars possible because I made myself available for you to answer your traffic and police questions, which is what I still do now. So, hey, if you should probably follow this channel, you should follow this channel because you might learn something. And if you don't, then you should just move on. But my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. And I do it Monday through Fridays because I want to. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays are 10 a.m. Tuesdays and Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. And I have my friend from Brooks, Alberta, Logan Grant, who usually, almost always, unless he's really sick, is joining me from Brooks, Alberta, to give the Albertan perspective. We have strong Alberta ties here, and of course that's who stars in this sticker. Yes. I love stickers. I'm making stickers for all sorts of crazy things, and I think one saying wasting taxpayer money is a sticker I gotta make because it's completely inaccurate and it's laughable. So we'll keep on going with that. And I see. Oh, now I understand. See, they posted here. Pierre lost with a laughing face, so I know exactly what kind of person is making comments. They're a silly person. Goodfellas 007, and by the way, not because they voted a certain way, because they're using that as trying to get someone upset. Whatever. Goodfellas 007 says, I see people using four ways on road when it's raining hard. They don't want to get rear-ended. But here's the question. We all know it's raining, and you all have brake lights, and those lights are on. Not when I'm not talking about just your brake lights, but your rear marker lights, we'll call them that. Rear facing red. Why have flashing yellows? Everyone driving on the road can see that it's raining. If that's what if you're trying to notify of the rain. And if it's so bad that you're worried that you're going to get rear-ended because no one can see, then that's driving conditions that aren't good for driving. Don't drive. Pull off. Get a hotel. Stay somewhere. Wait till the rain dies down. You are that concerned that you want to put your hazards on while you're driving, but you're still willing to drive, suggest you shouldn't be driving. Okay. What is this? Oh. Okay, Mr. Steak, Bad Words. I love it how everyone's on Bad Words Master, who's probably the same person who got banned on the other side. Jen has a Lyran sticker too. But yes, Lyrans. Jeff C wants to know if I have any secret on how to get a ticket canceled. I have secrets as to how to avoid getting tickets in the first place. And primarily it's don't break the law. That's the way to do it. That's the way. Formula One Grand Prix. I was lost earlier trying to remember what race it was. It was Miami Formula One Grand Prix. Someone wants to know if you can make a Grand Prix vehicle legal, and I don't think you can, but I don't know that. And of course, Melody is like busy doing other stuff today and isn't here to answer our mechanical questions. Blue Lion, Joris, Christian, Tubbs, Chris. It's Lily now. We got lots of folks here. James McKenzie, Alex, Anish, Kat. How you doing, everybody? TikTokster, LS. We got lots of folks in here. Agata. How's it going? Justin Nakatsuka. How's it going? Good to see you. Anish wants to know, question. Won't do it on purpose, but if my dog jumps in my lap and doesn't interfere while I get a ticket, you could get a ticket. It's considered careless driving. It is driving while crowded. You should absolutely be over in a tethered position. Well, the dog should, not you. Dog should be crated in the back, tethered to the seat so the crate doesn't fly off in a collision, or the dog can be tethered in the back seat. They should not have the ability to move into your lap while you're driving. Absolutely should result in a ticket. Hey, Chris, welcome. And SH18, trying to see if that reads. Is it shate? Shite? Is it it's just SH18, or are you trying to make it funny? Because if it's shite, it's quite funny. Isn't that super distracting having a dog in your lap? Yes. Also, dogs get smushed by airbags and collisions really bad. And if they don't get hurt on the collision, if they're free roaming in the car, they can get out. When a first responder comes to cut you out of the car, they could run into traffic, cause another collision, get hurt. It's just not a good idea. Rekka from Rekka CIBC says, "You're the best." Also, Mario, you guys feed us gold info. You're very welcome. I'm glad. And Bad Words Master doesn't like people like Mario, but fortunately, Bad Words Master doesn't matter. Greg Evans, what if my dog is sitting in the front passenger seat? Sitting in the front passenger seat is not bad in terms of legality, as long as they're staying on their side. But think about the airbag deploying. If they're a heavy enough dog to trigger the airbag, they're going to be severely injured. They could go through the window in a collision. Tethering, regardless of the position, is something you should consider starting with. Tether is a harness that is somehow secured to the seat, usually through the seatbelt loop, for the sake of your animal. Do that, because I assume that you love your furry best friend. Do the things that are going to protect them in the event of a collision. We don't plan strongly enough. We don't plan for collisions. We sort of hope that everything's going to be okay. And then when it doesn't go okay, we mourn the loss of our furry friends. And yeah, we just don't want that. And again, it's not just the collisions. What if someone's trying to help you? You get into a crash. So it is the collision. You get into a crash. The dog is freaking out. They run into traffic. They bite somebody. Like it's just crated in the backseat, probably the best. Tethered in the backseat is the second best, but definitely the backseat. We want kids to be in the backseat until they're 14. Dogs for sure. And by the time they're 14, they're just lying down, chilling out. They're old. Dog years. Anyway, Pashka 70 says, will there be more programs out for all bikes swarming and racing on the 400 series highways? They've already started racing down the 417 in Ottawa. I imagine so. I don't know, but generally speaking, there's been a big push lately, over the last 5 years, to really crack down on all the post-pandemic crazy drivers. And I think it's about time that they really crack down. I would like to see a change, amendments to the HTA. Anyone seen without a license plate, I think we should be able to seize those vehicles while they're on private property. Like if they go to the mall and we drive by, I think police should be able to seize them because they're unplated. And I people will say, well, that is heavy-handed. I'm like, these people are driving without insurance, without licenses, and stunt driving and putting lives at risk and doing takeovers. And when they're in swarms, like Pashka mentioned, they get away with it. They get away with it because you can't. We not that we can't. We don't chase people, especially those unlicensed dum-dums who do illegal stuff. They end up getting killed, and then it's blamed. Or the police service is blamed for the loss. It's really a sticky situation. But we need to have something done because it's out of control. So I imagine there'll be lots and lots of programs, and there's lots of intelligence-led programs. Like there's a lot of intel gathering and undercover stuff done that you won't openly see, but there's people embedded, I assume embedded with organizations like this out there riding and looking like these dirt bags just to get the information so they can later charge them. I think it's great. These people don't deserve to be on the road. Okay. SH18, no, LOL, first and last name. Okay, so it's not shite. But I think it would be very funny. You should maybe adopt it like Mr. Steak did. I gave him a name. But Mr. Steak really is Mr. Steak. And did I mention the amazing tomahawk I had at Chop? Yeah, anyway, just saying. It was really, really good. Still talking about it. Like I'm talking about it with you, but we have not stopped talking about it as a family since going there to dine. And the service was impeccable. You should go visit London, Ontario's Chop because it's just that good. Yeah. Alex says, are police undercover cars allowed to have dark window tints? I see this very often. They may have written authorization to do things that are outside of what's legal, but an undercover car is truly undercover. You wouldn't know it's a police car. If you're talking about just an unmarked car, it shouldn't have tinted windows that are beyond legal. Just saying. I don't agree with it. But they may have authorization outside of the HTA. They may have some latitude. to do things based on approvals beyond what I'm used to reading about. Motorcycle experience as a dad joke. Thank you. Do you agree or disagree that cyclists should have a driver's license and license plate on Ontario? Motorcycle experience, 100% agree. The city of Toronto has already said they won't do it. It costs too much money. Many cycling groups are up in arms whenever I talk about it because they don't like the fact that um, that a driver's license would be prohibitive. Like it would stop people from driving if they didn't have one, which is kind of the idea. But it would be a barrier to transportation, and it could impact negatively people who can't afford it. Um, I think it's a big problem. I think it's a real big problem that we have people who have not proven or clearly don't know or don't care what the laws are because they're out there being dangerous. So I think that if everybody, like, I don't think we should have exemptions for e-bikes. There should be low speed certifications because people are out there doing stuff and they're not being identified because they don't have any plates. The amount of work that we did to identify e-bike riders who hit and hurt people and then fled the scene, it's super huge money that you start investing when you realize how many officers are canvassing and acquiring video and just investigating. And people say they don't like wasting money on policing. Well, these things are wasting money. They're causing the waste because the people who are utilizing bicycles and e-bikes and other devices are actually a risk to others. Spider says, "Hey Sean, good morning. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well, Spider." Anish says, "Also, thank you for all the free service you provide." It's my pleasure. The whole goal of better traffic is to provide the people on the road, even though some people keep complaining that I'm costing them tax money, which is ridiculous. It's to help people. I'm just a normal guy, no longer a police officer, and I'm still doing exactly the same thing I did as a police officer, just not getting paid for it. Wild, right? A little crazy, possibly. But the goal is one day that we have enough private funding from sponsors like Diamond and Diamond and Better Legal, Barrett Legal, Better Barrett Legal. I don't know. And other companies are approaching us all the time because they want to get involved and help support us. And not all of them are the big time supporters. They're smaller time supporters, so you don't hear about them every day. But we appreciate the help because I'm talking to schools, I'm talking to military, I'm talking to people who want the education for their organization. And I'd love to be able to do it for free, but I also have to pay bills. And I means I have to go work somewhere else and do other things. And I'm getting a call from a magical man from Happy Land because he knows I should be offline right now. I'm just going to send him a message saying I am still yapping online. I'm just live streaming. Call him back. Okay. Mr. Steak says, "You're too kind. I appreciate you." And I appreciate you too. In fact, Mr. Steak and I were talking about the fact that we'd like to talk more online because he is a customer service specialist. And I like to believe I am one too, except when I'm mouthing off to the people who are being trolls, because I think that's also appropriate. I don't think that customer service means you have to bend over. I think that customer service means you have limits and you play within them. And customers need to know that too. I think that the customer service industry is upside down right now and needs some guidance. So I think we're going to talk about that in some. I mean, we'll spin off a new podcast, but I really think that there is much to be learned in a combination of someone in the service industry and the policing industry, and combine the two to make a magical experience when it comes to customer service. Okay. Empress says, "Yes, the cyclist also needs to know the rules of the road while driving in any moving vehicles." Well, here's the thing, Empress. They're actually responsible legally to the Highway Traffic Act, whether they know the laws or not. They are responsible for following them, and that's where I'd like to see people actually tested and thing. Like my buddy, Star Wars Cop, does programs for kids to learn the basics. Well, what happens if you never got the benefit of his program? And you out there riding willy-nilly, not knowing, and you get hurt or hurt somebody else. It's not okay. We got Kayla Draconis with greetings and salutations from the TMC. That's the Traffic Management Center, a magical Toronto place. Only very few lucky people ever get to see the inside of. Tequila says, "Sean, what's up?" What's up, Tequila? How you doing? Melody. Oh, Melody, good to see you. Customer service with a smile there. That's not a smile, but we were talking about you all morning until you got here. And the question was, can you make a Formula One, an F1 car legal for the road? That is the question. And I see a bunch of people ask some questions. Jen wants to know where my podcasts are. You can get them. Well, get them on YouTube in video form. This turns into a podcast that's replayed as a podcast. Just essentially I updated so you can get it on podcast apps like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio podcasts. But the podcast is called Traffic Jam, which also resides on YouTube, as well as all of the others. If you go to askatrafficcop.ca, links should be there for everything. If they're not, they're going to be added soon. Let's see here. Do you know? Oh, do you know what the OPP license plate reader tells the officer? I do, Greg. It's the same as what they tell all officers. There is a reader that, well, there's automatic plate readers, ALPRs, that just does the work of typing in the license plate and running it against the checklist of wanted or suspended people that need to be, made aware, or the police need to know about them. But generally speaking, when a police officer enters your license plate, you get a little search. It finds out if you're wanted, finds out if there's no major alerts. It just tells you who the registered owner is, what the vehicle is registered as, and brings the ability to then further dive into who the registered owner is, make sure they're licensed. Sometimes that person's a company. So there's still further investigation, which is why you still get a stop. You still get a demand for license ownership and insurance. It does not confirm if you have insurance. So you still have to, like, I had to call and verify with companies to find out what the insurance status was, because it doesn't just say, yeah, they're insured. There's some information, but it's not sufficient. What's his bike riding program for kids called? That's a really good question. I don't know if it has a name. He does it with different organizations. If you call traffic services, or go catch him on at Star Wars Cop or the Star Wars Cop on almost every platform, you can find him there, and he'll let you know when the next one is, and it's usually done in coordination with schools. Maxim wants to know, can make right turn if Sing stop on red here? If it says stop on right here, it's just giving you a very specific place of where you must stop. It doesn't prevent you from making a legal right turn on red after coming to that stop. So once you've come to the stop here, you can still advance forward and make a right turn unless it's signed otherwise. Melody says, lost the Wi-Fi. There, totally missed what you said. Oh, no. We were asking about F1 cars. Could you take an F1 car and make it street legal? Is it possible? Or is there a reason why it's not legal? I know I'm talking like I'm from Buffalo. Anish says, is there a legal limit on how many dogs I can transport in my minivan depending on size? Is 8 okay? I'm not aware of any legal limit. I would say, again, crate them. You don't want dogs running all over your vehicle. In the event of a collision, that would be a very messy situation, mostly because they'd crap themselves. I'm joking. Mike Harris, what's going on? He says, hi, Shop. He was calling me, and now he's in the live stream. It's amazing. Spider says, hey, Mike. And Spider 3 Aces says, oh my God, Sean, Mama Burger combo for $5.99 today on the A&W app. I may have to drive over. I may have had a lettuce wrapped burger yesterday for lunch. I was there. I might have to go back today based on your advertisement. Justin wants to know if the ALPR lets an officer know if the owner has a PAL or RPAL. There is a way to look at firearms listing. It's not generally done as an automatic. I don't think it comes up automatically. I've always had to look to see that, but it does. We do have the ability of looking that information up. All right, let's look at here. We're at the 1:05, an hour and 5 minutes, which means I'm over time. Only minor distractions by the trolls from X, or a singular troll, who is either really a single mom of 3 and living in New Jersey, or faking it, which is what I think it is. I think it's a fake troll account, but whatever. What do we got here? We talked about motorcycle experience. Nicholas Rizzi wants to ask a very funny question to which I don't have an answer, but no. The answer to his question without reading it, because I'm not going there. The answer is no. So here's a dad joke. Do we pin them all? I think we did. Let's see. Michaela's dad joke. I have a couple of dad jokes too. They're really corny. Let's see if I have any duplicates. Dad joke from Michaela is, what's the best way to stop a runaway horse? Bet on it. Stop a runaway horse. But I'm not giving that one. I mean, with my luck, if I bet on a horse, it would not run. But yeah, I just don't think that was a great one. Let me know if you think it was a great one, because I don't think it was. All right, let's see here. What's a stormtrooper's favorite store? This is good. What's a stormtrooper's favorite store? The one next to Target. Do you know why? Because they never hit anything. They aim and never hit it. So it's next to the target. That's my favorite Star Wars joke thus far. Okay. Another Star Wars dad joke. Did you hear about the ship that came in second at the Kessel Run? It won a constellation prize. Constellation? Stars? Yeah. Dad joke from Motorcycle Experience. Why do fathers take an extra pair of socks when they go golfing? In case they get a hole in one. I like that. All right, my corny dad jokes provided by way of an app. Why did the traffic light turn red? Because he saw the car chasing. I read that poorly. Why did at a bad angle? Why did the traffic light turn red? Because he saw the car changing. He was naked. He was embarrassed. I really screwed that one up. Okay. What do you call a dinosaur with a seatbelt? A saphosaurus. No? Okay. And the other one was terrible. I'm not even reading it. Like, it was the worst. All right. What else can we talk about? Success. Quote. Here we go. A quote from Michaela. Success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. Maya Angelou. A fantastic quote by a person who is known to be a fantastic person. All right. Oh, we got Greg Evans. This is the third live stream we've heard this joke. What's the most common cause of dry skin? A towel. Have I ever been a witness in have I ever been a witness in a court for a serious crime? Yes. I think things like impaired driving are serious. I've had to testify for assaults. I've been in court for very, very serious stuff back when I was a court officer, but they weren't my arrests. I was just there with prisoner transportation. Melody says that F1 open wheel isn't legal. So what if they put little fenders? Could you convert it to be legal by putting little fenders over each wheel? Obviously, they need treaded tires. That wouldn't work. Yeah. Bailey Piperman says, good morning and happy Monday, Sean. Good morning and happy Monday, Bailey. Let's see here. Smitty says, is it okay to turn left onto a 2-lane road and some is turning right? It should be fine if you stay. What? Is it okay to turn left onto a turn? My God. Is it okay to turn left onto a 2-lane road and some is turning right? It should be fine if both stay in your lane. What do you mean? Like, someone's turning right and you're turning left onto the same road, but you have 2 lanes? Yes, you can both do that at the same time. If someone zigs when you should have zagged and ends in collision, someone's going to be in trouble, but it's going to be the person who went and wide and went into the improper turn. If you are successfully turning into your own lane, you should be correct. Yes, Smitty, absolutely. It took me 5 reads to get that right. I don't know why, but we're going to blame somebody other than myself. Mr. Steak says, attitudes are contagious. Is yours worth catching? Melody goes on with the F1 conversion. There should be a lot to change. Lights, windshield, airbags, etc. Do you have to have airbags? If you built a car now, does it require airbags to be on the road? See, the things I don't know. This is why Melody's going to join the podcast and or the live stream soon, so we can ask all these questions. I want to make a list of all these questions. Okay. It is after 11 and I got to go. So have a wonderful day. I'll be back tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Going to have Brooks, Alberta on the line. We're going to be having our friend, our good buddy, our pal from Alberta, Logan Grant, man in the sticker. Oh, I just hit the screen. Bye, Jen. We'll see you later. And MVids wants to know, since I caught the question, do you ever give tickets based off people speeding in a TikTok? You can't give tickets unless you can identify a whole bunch of things, license or vehicle, time, date, location, driver. That's the kind of stuff you'd be required to capture. But I know that they've done sting operations where they've figured out who the person was, waited down the street from their house, and then caught them when they were doing stupid stuff later. Yeah, don't post stuff on the internet where you're doing dumb stuff. Or better yet, don't do dumb stuff. Don't do illegal stuff. Because, yeah, the police are waiting to catch you, take you out of the equation, so you stop putting others at risk. Mr. Steak sending waves. Oh, Oh, okay. Bailey says, I wonder how you knew my name, Boy Mom 8424. And I thought I was watching on TikTok because you're on a different app. That's how. And now I know who you are because I thought you looked familiar in the user screeny preview window. Let's see here. Smitty says, thank you so much. I didn't explain well, but we got there. We got there. The goal is to get the answers to the questions you have, and we'll work through it. It's not about being fast or flashy or being perfect. This show is far from it. But if you want to know stuff and things, I'm here for you. This is really just a friendly chat that has sponsors. Anyway, have a great day. See you tomorrow if you're back. If you want to watch old episodes, if you want to catch up on stuff and things, go check out the Voiceover Cop YouTube page. And you can very easily leave me voicemail by going to askatrafficcop.ca, clicking the leave me a voicemail message, and it does it all fancy schmancy. And then maybe you'll have your question featured on tomorrow's episode where we play it live for everyone to listen to. Well, live recorded, not live, because you're not living in the computer and the recording. It's recorded. All right. Have a great day. Take care. I'm just going to press the button to make sure I don't keep talking. Yeah.